Hello? Is anybody there? Can somebody can you guys hear me now? I'm looking at my messages. Are you worried about me? Hello? Hello? Folks, I'm here. Hello. All right, folks. I think I'm live. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me I'm actually here. I don't know what's going on here, folks. Can you guys hear me now? Yes, he's here. Oh my God, folks. We had a glitch that I wasn't aware of. Yes, the phone did ring, and I told you I couldn't answer it because I was busy, and it was you calling. My God. Welcome, folks, to the live stream that's late. Guaranteed to have a glitch or two. You never know what's going to happen. Place your bets. I just don't know what we're betting on. We put this show on live for you. As you can tell, anything happens live. This comes from Penny Boys. We talk about hot penny stocks here. I give you penny stocks all week. This gives you a chance to share penny stocks with everybody else. You know, the more people that know about it, the more that are going to invest in it. So I didn't get a whole lot of them today. I got 4 of them. Everything okay? Yeah, okay. I got 4 of them from my standby crew: Belmore, the Underdog, Kashira, and oh, don't hit me, Brian. I did get yours. We're gonna have time, probably, hopefully, even if we started late, to get to some others here. So thank you, folks, for being here. I'm sorry I was late. I appreciate you if you're still here. If you watched the recorded version, you missed all of that. Lucky you. Oh, of course. All right. I am going to now dive in to here. I want to make sure that you guys see it, right? Yeah. Man, I was already into this. I got to do this all over now. Holy cow. Okay, I had already done this entire stock. Okay. I need to slow down. Honestly, over there at Penny Boys, it gets a little hectic when we're trading because there's so many people, so many stocks to look at. Plus, I'm doing my own trading. I'm watching stocks. I'm doing searching. Then I come over here and I talk as fast as I was working. And honestly, by the end of the show, I am so hyperventilated, I virtually pass out. I am not kidding. Your ears have got to be burning. So I'm going to practice putting some pause in between my sentences. It'll be good for me and good for you. If I don't, tell me, pause every now and then. All right, folks, we're going to jump into the first stock. This one came from my diehard follower, Velmore. She gets these in darn near as quick as I get up the notification about the video. We are going to take a look at MNDR. This is Mobile Health Network Solutions. They are a telehealth company. They help you online. You go online, talk to a doctor. It's as close as you get to being in person, but it's not in person. They are expanding globally. They've got a lot of different things that they do. They just IPO'd in April of last year. Had a huge explosion of volume today, and I'm sure that has to do with their news. They got funding. Whenever a company gets funding, it's normally good news. They've got a real low float. Revenues are growing. That's all great to hear. That funding is for AI to help their business. And oops, I discovered a reverse stock split. Did you know about that? So MNDR, Mobile Health Networks, finished today at 93, let's call it 94 cents. And boy, did she have a hot day. Look at that, folks. 185% right now. She's still bouncing around. That's not what it was the last time we talked about this. This is a hot penny stock on the major exchange. She's on the NASDAQ, which is a better place to be trading penny stocks than the OTC because it comes with benefits. First off, they're free to trade. How about that? Plus, you get to trade in pre-market and aftermarket. Folks, there are some huge runs pre-market and aftermarket. And I think that's because there's no halts for volatility. So when a bad boy starts to run, there's nobody there to stop it. You never get to do that with OTC. There's also a lot more money and a lot more volume up on the major exchange compared to the OTC. We need that. And there's a lot more rules. We need that too. It's those rules that keep our investments safe. And one of those rules, this company's in jeopardy right now. Minimum bid price requirement. They can't go under $1 and stay under $1 for too long. If they do, they'll be notified to get that price up over $1 within a certain amount of time, normally 6 months. They got to get over $1, close over $1 for 10 consecutive days. You can dip in those 10 days, but at the end of the day, you got to be over $1. Once you do that, you're out of hot water. But if you don't do it, you've got to do a reverse stock split to force that price up. And if you don't do it because you can't or won't, you're going down to the OTC. So we will get some more details about that here in just a minute. Get my mouse working here. Thank you very much. So what is this company about? As I said, they're a telehealth company, but they are an Asia Pacific telehealth company. They are out of Singapore. Mobile Health Network Solutions is an investment holdings company providing telehealth solutions in Singapore. The company operates in two segments: the telemedicine and other services, that is their digital aspect of their business, and then the sale of medicine and medical devices, the physical aspect of their business. We've got a little more information over here about the business. The company is ranked 41 in the Financial Times in 2024, listing the 500 high-growth Asia-Pacific companies. Number 41 out of 500. That ain't bad. They are the first telehealth provider from the Asia-Pacific region to be listed in the USA. And as you would expect, they provide their customers with the best service they possibly can, and they're spreading from where they're at further and further out. And they are now using AI to make their services work better. Now, they connect their business not just to consumers, but to all these medical clinics, to hospitals, doctors, physicians, places where your information is being stored. And AI is going to make all of that work much more efficiently, as well as diagnostics. Taking a look at some more information. Looking at the news, most of the news is just about them expanding their business here and there. But the big news that got it running today with a massive volume increase was that Mobile Health secured $10 million in funding to expand their AI-powered telehealth solutions. Not only is it $10 million funding, which is always big news, but it's AI. So we got two catalysts being put together here as one. You know, it's like putting Vaseline on a baseball and setting it on fire and having a pitcher pitch it at 100 miles an hour. This thing was hot today, folks. Let's go take a look at the relative volume. Look at that explosion. From 1.3 million shares a day over the last month to over 443 million shares. When I just did this, when I wasn't online, it was 439 million shares. So in the last 15 minutes, she's done another 4 or 5 million shares. So she's still hot aftermarket right now. That's a huge increase, folks. That's like 390, 400 times her normal volume for the last 30 days. Now, I don't know if it's going to continue, but I'd watch it anyways. When you got that kind of volume, don't guess. Just put it on your watch list and watch it. Looking at the share structure. Ooh, that's pretty decent, ain't it? 22 million shares outstanding. That's everything. Insiders and us, the float. I don't know what the insiders own, and I don't know what the float is, so I can't do any math. All I know is that the float isn't any higher than 22 million. That's an excellent float. Even if that is the float, think of how many shares we just did today. 440 million. And there's only 22 million shares. Obviously, you've got to sell all those shares over and over and over again. What would that be? 5 times 4, 20 times you'd have to sell every share over today. That is a supply and demand issue. Lots of people want the shares. There's just not enough shares to give them. So now we can start asking more for them. You want my shares? You pay for them, and you pay for them dearly. Market cap for the company is currently 7.3 million. Financials for the company. Over the last 3 years, they've been growing about 7 million to about 8 million to about 14 million at the end of June 2024. The end of their fiscal year is in June. And their profit has been growing as well. Not a big profit margin, but they're in the black. Everything is growing. That's good. Looking at the quarterlies, they don't supply them here. I'm sure they got them. We just don't get them here at the OTC market. Looking at the balance sheet, we do get that. Remembering those 3 zeros, they come over here as well. So we got like 6.7 million in the bank. That's what I call their cash and cash equivalents. Total assets, a little more than that, about 8 million. Total liabilities, about half that, almost 4. So we've got stockholder equity of 4.1 million. So we've got positive stockholder equity. We have positive revenues. We have positive profits. From a day trader standpoint, this is looking really good. Even from a swing trader's point of view, this isn't looking bad at all. Taking a look at the filings, 6Ks, I normally just poke my head into these real quick. Right, this one had to do with some sort of debt consolidation that they're working on. This 6K here, yes, this was the reverse stock split. This is why I poke my head in. I can very quickly just look at the top paragraph, look at a couple sentences, and know if I want to read any more. Whenever I see there's been a shareholder meeting, I stop. I don't care if they've had it or they're going to have it. I want to know, did you or are you going to vote on a reverse stock split? These are killing me. Folks, Mullen just did another reverse stock split. It was an itty bitty tiny one. I think it was 1 for 6. Well, I had already gone through 4 of them. I had less than 10 shares. I had 4 shares. Each share cost me $869 after all of those reverse stock splits. The stock never was that high. This last split put me into a fractional share. All fractional shares are eliminated. I don't even get any money. They took my entire investment from Mullen because of reverse stock splits. It just took, and now it's gone. I didn't even know that was possible, folks. Unbelievable. I think that is 76 reverse stock splits I've been in that have cost me over $40,000. Stay away from them. Stay away from them. This one is going to be a 1 for 8. That's what they're planning if they can't get their price up over $1 in the deadline. That's the one thing I did not see here. I don't know. Let's see if the news. I'd like to know when that deadline was. Sometimes the news will actually tell you. I don't see it here. Well, what we can tell is by looking at the charts. You've got to be under $1 for 30 days. After that, they give you a warning. That's normally like 15, 30 days later, you get your warning. Then you get 6 months. So we will get more information over there. So let's go do that right now. I'm going to take my ticker, everything going on there. And I'm going to bring you over here to my free trading platform, Think or Swim. I never call it that. I call it my playground. I like looking at charts. This is where I do most of my due diligence, folks. When I'm looking for a hot chart, I'm looking for atypical breakouts. I'm looking for bullish patterns, double bottoms. I'm not going through the news. The news could be good and the chart falls. The news could be bad and the chart climbs. So why let the news tell me what to think? I let the charts tell me what to think. So we're looking at a 4-hour, and we'll go back a year. I doubt it's going to be much different. Oh, right. This company came on the market April of 2024. This was their first day on the market. They came on at roughly $5, and the first day they jumped up to just a little over $9. But that was just the beginning of their climb. For many a days, they kept climbing, hitting a high here of about $29. Let me get my high bubble button on here. I turned that off because it was getting in the way of the pictures for people's supports and resistances. Yes, $29.50. We hit that April 19th. She stayed up there at roughly $25 for about 10 days. Then the bottom just fell out of it. And I have no idea why. But it fell from 25 down to roughly $1.50, give or take. and she went sideways. I'm sure there's a little bobbling in there, but it's sideways, hitting a low of 23 cents here, November of 2024. And right now, she is starting to climb. I mean, 4 or 5 days ago, she started. Today, she ripped. Now, you can see down here on our MACD, we have volume today, but there was nothing to be seen here. We can see a little bit of activity here. She's starting to climb slowly, but nothing to catch her attention. But this, my ADX, that's catching my attention, right? She's jumping after a whole long time of doing nothing. The green line tells you what trend is dominant on the board, and the yellow line tells you how strong that dominant trend is. So it was already telling us that we had a strong uptrend coming into the picture here, and you can see she exploded today. RSI exploded today, MACD exploded today, and she broke through the 200 on her yearly chart today. Coming on down to that 6-month, 4-hour view, not much to see except to say she refused to break out right there, folks. When that 200 gets that close and the price doesn't make an attempt, I'm not going to pay any mind to it. Now, though, it's a whole different story. She is starting to break out, and she's doing it strong. You can see it was about 5 days ago. She started to push up. She got on top of the 200, stayed up there, and then she took off. All of our MAs are climbing now, and she is basically floating on her 9-day. But look at how high that price is. We are way the heck up here, and our 9-day is way the heck down there. That's when you have an abrupt fall. Now, it could just be a dip back to the 9, but when you're that high, it could come rushing through and crack that 9-day since it's so thin and come all the way back to the 20. Maybe break that too, come down to the 50. You never can tell. Now, what you see here, those white lines, those are my supports and resistances that we were trading with. We were looking at this today because she was hot. She was running, and I grabbed a surge because, as you can see, I had to go all the way back, and that's daily chart. And I could have gotten some supports and resistances off the daily, but that really isn't tight enough when you're playing a 1-day chart. So I got my own supports and resistances, and they're makeshift. What I did was, when I found this, it was up here somewhere. I can't remember where, but I drew a Fibonacci from the top of where I found it down to the bottom of this surge. Then I released that Fibonacci, which was this, and I lifted it up, and I laid the second line of my Fibonacci, this being the first. The second line I overlaid over top of the line, and this becomes my supports and resistances to trade on. Now, you wouldn't think that would work, right? I mean, why should it? I don't know. The thing here is this is a Fibonacci. The Fibonacci is, you might as well call them magic numbers. It's a science we can't explain. We see it work. We know it works. We've used it before. We just can't explain it. And we use it in a lot of different ways, including the financial markets. So this is like supports and resistances, except they're not attached to any historical price point. But I can trade on them, and the price is going to respect them. So this is what we were trading on today. Now, what I see here, oh boy, do I see that? A double top. We may have a double top here. Let me back this up to 30 minutes. It's possible. She came up here and hit a top. She's come back down, but she set a new high. I think she's broke that double top. I don't think we have to worry about that. After market, she is still surging, setting a new high here of $1.03. She's pulled back, but she's still on top of her 9-day. Folks, a red bar isn't a bad thing. It's where the red bar sits. If it is just floating above an MA, it's been floating on, just let it roll. That's the way it breathes, in and out, in and out. This is going beautifully. And to see this much activity after hours, you're definitely going to want to keep your eye on this one tomorrow. Now, honestly, I don't think the $10 million is going to cause it to run much more. The AI might, but she may have had her strong push. You may get some more out of this in the morning, the wee morning pre-market. But I'm willing to bet, just a coin toss here, that once the bell rings, if she has any run at all, I bet she comes down hard. And you're going to have a lot of people watching it, thinking it's going to bounce. And it's going to be like, nope, that was it. Just because they climb doesn't mean they stay up, folks. They always come back to their means, back to normal ground. All right. Did you guys get all that? I hope so. I'm going to come back here just to make sure I don't have any warning messages. You know, I never know what's going on here anymore. Let me see. Thank you, beauty. Oh, thank you, guys. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate all of you. Let's see. There's a new name for me. I'm not going to say that. Do you see any potential in ADTX? We were playing ADTX at Penny Boys today. I can't remember what she was all about. And to be honest, when we're playing charts over at Penny Boys, I normally don't have as much time in the morning to do any research. We're just playing the charts. Whatever's going on, I'm oblivious to. I'm just playing the charts. So if ADTX had some good news, I don't know what it is. We haven't done any due diligence on it. All right, I see I got my locals here. I wonder how many people left when the show didn't start. Yeah, I can't blame you for that. Let me get rid of that comment, make sure all my buttons are pushed, and let's swing on over to the next stock. We are going to take a look at a stock I have not heard of before. This is CAFE. CAFE company was Consumer Automotive Finance. I guess there was a merger some time ago. I didn't find that information handy. Their name of the company is 51 Labs. They are been working on changing their name and changing the ticker, and I do believe that is the most current news right now, that's supposed to be handled within the next 30 days. What I noticed in the news that they are canceling a lot of shares. That's a good thing. That builds shareholder value. I like to see that. And they've got product expansion right now. So CAFE, she finished today at 0017. She's down right now about 5.5%. That's not a big drop. It's a 0001 drop. That's all it was. She is on the basement floor of the OTC, the pinks. This is the riskiest place to be in any of the market because there's no validated information in most cases on pinks. You don't get any filings. You don't get financials that are audited. What you get down here, press releases, hype. You get a reason for a stock to run and nothing to back it up. You got to take all of your press releases with a grain of salt, folks. Unless you see something up here that says penny stock exempt. Penny stock exempt is a green tick that the OTC markets will give to a company when they have been in business for 3 to 5 years, have had millions of dollars of assets or revenues. They don't even have to have been in business, and have kept up with their financials. If they do all that for 3 to 5 years, they prove they're responsible. And even though they are a penny stock and they are on the OTC market, they're not treated like a penny stock. They are not risky. That's what they're trying to tell us. But in all other cases, consider them risky, folks. Do not hold a pink for long. Anything can happen. And usually what happens is you end up holding a bag. So get in, get out, take your gains, be happy. This one happens to have the 2 green ticks I'm always telling you to look for. Company's verified profile and a transfer agent verified. That comes strictly from the OTC market. That's their job. The OTC markets is on the markets. They're a company you can invest in, and this is their business. This is what they do. The company is also a shell risk. I verified that. That means that they're not in business. Wait a minute here. Shell risk. Right. Shell risk means they're in business but not making any revenues, which they were making revenues. The revenues have disappeared. Now, I do know that the major exchanges just passed a rule that says if you make a deal with another company and get assets in that deal, even though you're not doing any business, you just got some assets, we consider that business. So just having a deal where you acquire something can make it look like you're in business and you're not, and you get the shell risk, because shell risk is not a good thing. You don't want to see that. So what is 51 Labs all about? Well, let's see here. Did I go over that information with you already? Yes, I did. Okay. All right. 51 Labs is a company with 4 subsidiaries that operates in the sports, supplement, fitness equipment, and health wellness industries. It was started by an ex-football player. They have their 51 sports supplement brand, which are supplements that you take, powders and proteins and stuff like that. Then they have Quickness, which holds a patent for innovative sports training equipment designed to help improve linebacker training. It's tackling dummies. It's these things you hit with your shoulders, football training equipment. That's the sort of stuff we're talking about. They also have Astound, a brand of anti-aging DNA repairing supplements. And they just made a deal back in, I think it was 2023, with Drago Knives. They've got special throwing knives, which is a big deal to this company. So taking a look at the information I found for this company, bloody heck, I lost my highlights. All right, as I said, the company's been canceling a lot of shares, and I'm looking at all of them. I've gone all the way back here to 2023. Well, back then they got rid of 70 million shares. Then December of 2024, we got rid of another 200 million. Then on December 10th, they got rid of another 50 million. And they promised they're trying to do another 250 million. Well, holy cow. Right now, that's 300 million just in recent times, plus the 70 million back here. That's 370 million. That's a ton of shares that they're taking off. That's given us a lot of shareholder value. I also see the acquisition that was back in June of 2024 for Drago Knives. They made another deal in August of 2024. The company announced the joint venture to develop and release new testosterone boosting supplements. And then up here, 51 Labs expands their sports nutrition line with 5 new innovative products. I do believe I've got a picture of those products. Dun, 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 dun. Well, not a picture, but a list. The ION Select Electrolyte Formula, Nature's Espresso Coffee, Turmeric Gummies. That don't sound too tasty. Apple Cider Gummies. We're getting better. And Ashwagandha Gummies. I know I tore that name up. So those are their new products. They are expanding their line of products. I don't know how many products that they've got. And then their most recent news that came out today, they are completing final steps with FINRA to change their name, which is a big deal. It's not as easy to change your name as you would think, and to change their ticker to FITY. They expect to do that within 30 days. Now, right now, ticker is CAFI. You come here one day and you can't find the ticker, don't freak out. It's FITY. And in case you didn't know it, folks, over here, just hover on that, corporate actions. If you click that, there's a hidden arrow right here. There is so much information here. Symbol changes, company name changes. If a company changes their position on the market from one tier to another, stock splits. These are all listed over here before the market opens. You can get all this information before it starts. Stock splits, name changes, ticker changes, all of it is over here for all the stocks, not just OTC, every stock on the market. All right, so let's take a look now at the relative volume. Based on that news, well, look at that. She darn near doubled her volume, going from about 21 million to 40 million. Share structure for CAFI, soon to be 50. Whoa, we got like 750 million shares. Keep pulling those shares off. So they took off, they had 1 billion shares roughly. That's what we were looking at. We're down to 755 million. Well, it's nice to see that the insiders have a big chunk. They got 339 million shares. We're right behind them with 416 million shares. It doesn't make me feel any better that they've got as many as we do, except to say when we go through a reverse stock split, they go through it with us. They get hit just as hard as we do. So they probably wouldn't be excited to do it if they were forced to do it. If it works out in our advantage, and it can, if you have a stock that is down here at this price, she gets up near 008. She's been running for 4 days. They do a stock split. It gets thrown up onto the NASDAQ because it gets in front of people who have money now. It's at a high enough price. You got to be over $3. All of a sudden, people look at it and say, ooh, never seen this company before. Who is that? Shh. People who have money start throwing money at it. All of a sudden, your $3 stock is up to $8. When it was down here at 001, same company, same fundamentals. All we did was a reverse stock split to get the stock in front of people who had money, who have never seen the stock because they will not come down to the OTC and they will never, ever look at a pink. So right now, our market cap with all of those shares is only 1.3 million. Are they making any money? Nope. Not at the end of their fiscal year, June 2024, and not at the end of their quarterly report, September. Dogs in the house. Can't control them. Balance sheet. Uh-oh. This is the first time I've seen this. We've got nothing in the bank. How do you run a business without any money in the bank? We've got $26,000 in assets. You can't even own a car for $26,000. So what do they own? Furniture? Total liabilities, $265. Normally, a startup company has a lot of debt. I mean, it looks bad, but it makes sense because they're starting off. They had to get everything. So what's going on here? And we're holding the debt they have. So I'm not real sure what's going on here. The fundamentals are a little wacky to me. I'd have to do some more diving around to see what's happening. Taking a look at the disclosures, well, because it's a pink, they're real quick to look at. You don't get any. All you get all the financials, and the most recent one came out about a week ago. Not going to be much in it. It wasn't audited. These are just tallies that the management puts together because the OTC asks for certain information, and they just fill in the blanks and they give it to us. So that's what we got here, folks. So let's go take a look now at the charts for CAFE. 50, soon to be. I wish. I'd love to be 50 again. I remember the days I was fearing it. Now it doesn't look so bad. It's all about perspective, isn't it? Going back to our yearly chart. So I don't see any reverse stock splits. Price makes sense. So it was back in June of last year. They were at 4.3 cents. She fell down to a low here. I'd say that was back in October. Down to 002. Man, that is a gigantic fall. She's been down here for a long time. She made some headway crossing these big MAs, right? She went over the 50 and the 200 haul. Even got excited about it. She did have a jump there going up to, well, she got a 100% jump out of that from 000 or 002 to 004. Came back down underneath the 50, hitting that low to 0004. God, it's getting worse and worse. And now we're starting to climb. Now, this is decent. Let me back this up so we can have a little better view. Yeah, I think you can see that. So what we've got here is an atypical breakout. Do we not? Now, you normally don't see them run as hard on these low price stocks. But what you do see is the percentages add up more on these low price stocks. So we've got a 200-day MA falling at the top. We've got our 200 haul on the bottom. Those are both 200s, same strength, same power, same authority. The difference is the 200 MA is a bully. The 200 haul is a friend. When this turns up, you will normally see the price start to push towards that 200 and overtake it. We see it all the time. This is a perfect setup right now. We've got volume coming into the picture, more than we've had for a while. Oscillators are very strong. Look at that ADX. Both our green and yellow line are up at the top climbing, and our downtrend line is pushing away, getting even weaker, which tells me even more strength is coming into the picture. This is looking really hot for a sub-penny stock on a yearly chart. Taking a look at our 4-hour, well, there it is. It's the same exact picture. Let's come on down to our hourly. Yeah, we got a different perspective there, don't we? So we were underneath our 200. Actually, we're underneath everything, just hitting our head on the 50, hit that low bubble, went sideways, got on top of our 200, jumped onto our 50. I always say, if you can get on top of the 50, underneath the 200, as soon as this turns blue, that means it's going up, the 200 haul, you're going to see a burst in power on the price. Can you see it, folks? Boom, boom, to and through the 200. There's your take right there. This setup normally gives you a run to and through the 200. Take your gains just over top of the 200 because she's normally going to come down, test to 200, and then you'll get another run doing something. And that's exactly what we had here. Now she's on top of the 200. It is falling, right? It is falling. So we expect this to come back to the 200. Hopefully, by the time she returns to the 200, it's flat. If it's flat, she will probably bounce on it and rise. If this is still falling, chances are she's going to come underneath it and come back down. Right now, it looks like she is right at level. Right now, folks. Look at my ADX. Everything is weak. Everything is fighting for position. They're all in the same zone. So we really don't know what's going to happen here. We are watching this right now. We got a lot of pressure from all of our MAs looking like they're cresting over right now. So it doesn't look completely optimistic, to be honest. Take a look at our 5-day 15-minute. All right, we've gotten up over top of our 200, bounced on our 200 haul, the friendly 200, hit our high, came back down. We did not come down to our 200. We are hugging that 200 MA, showing that we want to climb. We got a wick going through the 200 haul. Wow, her price came right back. I'm expecting this to actually go up. This looks like it is ready to climb. She may just tag the 200 and then start to turn up. What do my oscillators say? Doesn't look like they're in full agreement with me. We do have a recovery going on our PPO, which is a lot like your MACD. Our ADX is still in turmoil. Looks like our downtrend is getting weak, but our uptrend isn't doing anything. And we don't have strength on any of our trends. So it is in a watch mode, but we've got a recovery position on our MACD right now, and we are pushing up on our RSI. So we do have more heat than coolness here. We don't need to look at any more. I do like Cappy. I think she's got enough heat in the chart. What we need is volume. There is a lack of volume right now currently, but if we could get some volume at this price with that long setup on the 4-hour, we could get a nice run. Once she gets over the 200, take your gains. If you want to get back in, wait till after she dips. I promise she'll dip. Then get back in. But take your gains first. Don't lose those, folks. All right, let me come back and talk to you all. How you doing, folks? Okay, Saeed, what are you talking about? BHAT. You know, I just covered that, don't you? Yeah, I just did a video on it yesterday. Blue Hat, they actually bought 1 ton of gold. They bought 32,000 ounces back in October for $1,900. Did not receive it until here recently, and gold is now valued at $2,780. So they made about $25 million on the deal, just being patient, waiting for their gold. They are opening up a commodities trading platform, and that's going to be worldwide. They are primarily going to be dealing with gold and gems. They used to deal with augmented reality games and toys, and they say the technology they acquired with their toy industry is helping them with their trading commodity industry. Who knew? Vincent, hit you up, brother. I don't know if that was for me or not, but I'm ready to hit you up. Me. I'm glad you're here too. Ooh, there's a nice name. Shamagadar Man. Check out Poet. Poet, I've seen a lot of people on Penny Boys talking about that. I think some were playing some options on it as well. Okie dokie. I'm going to jump back into another stock here. I think we've got 2 more to consider. Let me get a drink. Here's one. This is a twig company, right? Twig, we use that to talk about the DEA's, oh, the hell with it. Cannabis, marijuana. The reason I was calling it twigs, every now and then my videos get yanked by YouTube because some advertisers don't want to advertise with cannabis being talked about. C'est la vie. If it happens, it happens. Tilray Brands. This is a company being brought to me by Brian Todorovic. Close. I was close. Tilray is a Canadian cannabis and beverage company. No mention of an RS. I guess that is what Brian is concerned with. I think a lot of people are concerned with that right now, to be honest. So let's talk about Tilray. Tilray, I am familiar with. Haven't kept up with her as much as I used to. When I got into trading in 2018 as a novice, I knew nothing about trading. Nobody taught me anything, and I wish they had. Wish I'd taken the time to learn. I traded cannabis for 2 years and nothing else. That was it. And I knew cannabis inside and out. And I lost a lot of money on it. Tilray is a Canadian cannabis company, so nothing going on here in the United States really affects it, but that's not true. Only legally. They do have a lot of dealings with the American companies here, but they can't complete their business until the DEA changes the scheduling. When the FDA or the federal government changes it, they're going to have more business with American companies. But they're a Canadian company working globally. And I don't know how many countries they're in, but I can tell you this much. Tilray is the largest cannabis company in the world by footprint. They have more establishments and in more places than any other cannabis company in the world. And they're doing very, very good in their financial world. But cannabis is not the only thing they're into. A couple years ago, they decided to get into beverages. Now, they initially started, I do believe, with cannabis beverages, THC and CBD. And they were working with Molson's, Coors, I believe it was, and they bought it out from them. Then they went and bought another brewery from Sweetwater. Then they bought 8 subsidiary breweries from Anheuser-Busch. I don't know how many they got now, but Tilray is, I do believe, the 5th largest craft brewery in America, the number 1 craft brewery in the Northwest Pacific of America. They do deal with liquor as well, not just beer. They also deal with soft drinks. So they've got the beverage market covered. So between cannabis and beverage, they have got a huge business now. So Tilray Brands, as I said, is out of Canada. Finished today at 86.5 cents. Was down about 0.5% today. This is a cannabis company on the major exchange, the NASDAQ, under $1 right now. Now, there is something you need to know when it comes to cannabis companies. They are not all created equally. Because cannabis is illegal here in America, cannabis companies that touch the plant cannot get on the major exchange. So you have a lot of American companies that are doing very, very well, have been around, got hundreds of dispensaries, doing hundreds of millions of dollars of business, and are on the OTC. They're on the ceiling. They're on the QX. They're at the very top, giving us all the financials, just as if they were on the major exchange. They're giving us all the filings, audited. I mean, they're doing the best they can, but until the government changes the laws, that's as far as they can go. But foreign cannabis companies that touch the plant can get on the major exchange. Just doesn't seem fair, does it? And that's the way the market is. So what did I learn about this company? Well, there's a picture for you. That's all. Those are their brands, all those different beverages. And they've got lots of news right now about their beverages. They're sponsoring all these different events. They're getting certain places to add their beer or their whiskey to their line. I really didn't find any news over there at the OTC market. So I came over here to my favorite place for news, which is Stock Titan. You can get all this news for free. I think there's a 30-second or a minute delay, if that bothers you. You can pay and get rid of that time delay. They've also got a momentum scanner over here, which I use all day as well. It is free, has a little bit of delay, but you know, when you're scalping, a little bit of delay isn't bad. You want it to be running before you find it. This is weighing up the news impact and looking at the charts. And they use AI to do that. The great thing I like about the news here is that the AI writes blurbs about the news. It writes a blurb about the company. So if you want to do some due diligence and make it quick, just come over here to Stock Titan and they'll tell you a whole bunch about the company without you having to do a lot of jumping around. So let's just take a look at some of their most recent news here. There wasn't a lot that we really needed to jump into. Beginning of the year, Tilray Medical Wins tender to supply Luxembourg with medical cannabis. We're talking about Germany. Folks, Germany is the hub area for Europe. When cannabis comes into Europe, it normally goes to Germany first, and from Germany, it goes to everywhere else. So you want to be dealing with Germany when you get contracts. Tilray's in there like Flint, no problem whatsoever. Just reported financials. You want to know about them, jump into there. All the information is there. Breckenridge Brewery launches new seasonal brew, Spring Forward Grapefruit. Yeah, that's one of their subsidiaries I've never heard of. Terrapin Beer celebrates 20 years of iconic Wake and Bake beer with the exciting Wake and Bake event in Athens. Wake and bake is when you smoke marijuana. As soon as you wake up in the morning, you wake and bake. You have a beer to chase down your cotton mouth? What's that about? Get ready for Ultimate Game Day with Tilray Brands national-wide brewery events. Montauk Brewing partners with JetBlue. JetBlue, I do believe, is a public company. They've added Montauk beer to their airline, so you can drink Tilray beer. Tilray Brands enhance global cannabis supply chain and expands their portfolio in Germany. And more beer. But there is nothing here recent, folks. The most recent piece of news came out today. Good Supply introduces new Monsters resin vapes, full spectrum highs. These companies that have been around now for years have got multiple brands. They are selling these brands in multiple places, some exclusively, some only get this brand, other people get that brand. They have got lots going on, folks. So to explain all of it, we ain't got the time, but you do. So jump in there to their most recent financial, and go to their websites. You'll get all the information that you're looking for. But we really don't have any big catalysts. Most of the mergers and all that stuff is done. You get new dispensaries, so when Tilray started buying up breweries, that was a big deal for a cannabis company because she was growing again. A lot of our companies quit growing. The one thing I do want to mention, we're going to be looking at the financials page, but we didn't dive into the financials. This has been the biggest concern of everybody. The company's making great revenues. The revenues are growing, but they've been losing money steadily for a long time, and they're losing more money. So as they're gaining more, they're losing more. And that spread is getting a little concerning right now. And that's what people are worried about. And then, of course, we are thinking about getting that price up. Now, it's not always about the price being under $1, right? It's about getting your stock in front of people. If I remember correctly, I think Tilray was up at $40. I haven't looked at her chart in a while. She was up at $40 or $80, something like that, back when I was trading it, back before they had 100 dispensaries and were in 30 different countries, I'm just pulling those numbers out of my head. But they were nothing back then, and they were worth $40. And now we're down to $1. So if we did do a reverse stock split, it would put the company, which has a lot going for it, in front of people who will study that value and then start giving it more value by investing in it. That's what we need. Today's volume dropped from 47 million down to 33 million. Share structure for the company is high. We're up there close to 1 billion shares right now. Anytime you have 1 billion shares in a penny stock, you got to expect a reverse stock split. So yeah, it's possible it could happen. I haven't seen anything there. Now, you could go to Google. I didn't do that. I probably should have. You can go to Google, put in the ticker, put in the word consolidation and split, and just see what comes up. You'll probably get a history of their splits and any new filings where they talked about it, including a shareholder meeting. It's a heck of a lot faster than going through every single filing trying to find it. Market cap right now, we are just under $1 billion. We are at 819 million. Financials. As I said, they're doing good. Over the last 4 years, their financials have been strong. They were over $500 million back in 2021. Right now, we are over $750 million. And they're bringing home profit. We got to bring home just under $250 million in profit in 1 year. Quarterlies, good. I'm glad to see the quarterlies are here. Our quarterlies are strong. We're roughing around 200 million every 3 months, folks. In beverage and cannabis, 200 million every 3 months. The profits are jumping around all over the place, and I can't explain that. What I can say is they're steady, normally about 50 million or more every 3 months. But when we dive into the financials and start looking at other factors, it's not all pretty. Now, cash to cash equivalents at the end of November of 2024, we had about 190 million in the bank. Check out their assets, though. For a penny stock, right? We're not talking about big blue chip stocks here. We're not used to seeing these kind of numbers. $4.1 billion in assets. But look at this. Look at the liabilities. 718 million. So that gives us $3.4 billion in stockholder assets. So we've got value in this company. Now, you could take all those shares and again, divide it into that number down here, and that'll give you an asset value. Or you could take all their revenues and divide that. There's lots of ways to figure it out. But right now, folks, this is undervalued. And we either have to get it up or the company is going to put it up. It's undervalued. And if we don't do it here soon, I don't know. She needs some big news, but what big news can they do? They've made darn near all the mergers they can make, and the revenues are growing. So right now, all I think they need is to actually get this stock in front of people that have money, who will judge the stock fairly and start paying what it's worth and get this thing to start running. And if the government, our government, which I don't think is going to do anything this year, I think they got way too many things on the agenda to worry about rather than marijuana. It's been trudging along here. I think they're going to let it just trudge along. And that's sad because we're losing money and Trump thinks about it. We're missing out on all the export business for the rest of the world. How much cannabis could we give to them? How much cannabis could California sell to New Jersey? Just amongst ourselves. We like variety. Right now, the people in New Jersey only get to smoke cannabis from New Jersey. So let's get that fixed and maybe business will get better for everybody because it'll be liquid then. We'll have fluidity. All right, disclosures. I don't think there was anything here. I do remember looking at these, but can't recall what the hell I was looking at. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll bring this one up. I'm not too worried about it, but you might be. They made a deal with Afria a while ago. They acquired Afria, American company. I think they did that because they could not deal with Afria. The government was stopping them. They're in Canada. Afria was in America, and they couldn't do business. So the hell with you. We're just going to buy it. Now they own Afria. Well, Afria got sued because of another transaction they did. There's all the details here. And as far as I can tell, it looks like it was settled, not for as much as the plaintiffs wanted from Afria, but for some. I think maybe 21 million rather than 875 million was given to the plaintiffs. I may be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But you may want to dive into that if you are into all those sort of details. The other 8K, what is this one about? Transaction, private certain debt, taking care of debt equity here for $22 million. And that's everything we got going on over here for Tilray. There is no real catalyst. Catalysts are kind of tough to come by for cannabis these days. So let's go take a look at the chart for Tilray. I do want to see what her long chart looks like. We'll go back 5 years. I know she was here back then. $67. That is without a reverse stock split. Now, I wonder if that's in February, just out of curiosity. Yes, it is. Boo. Now, I can see we got more chart here. I can see our 200-day MA is falling, which tells me the price was way up there. I don't know what it was. This one, I don't constitute. It is in the books. It is part of the algorithms, but I don't count it. This is February 2021. I do believe it was the very last stimulus check that Trump gave us for COVID. After the first three, people just went silly with this money. They went to the casinos. They jumped into the stock market and bought anything, because anything was running. Everything was running. I had more 1,000% gainers in a week than I had had in the previous year. This was a hot as hell month. And when it ended, it died. And a lot of people ended up holding bags at the end of that one. So we did hit 67 here, probably even higher back here. I remember 80. Actually, I thought it was even higher than that. So if your charts go back even further, you might be able to see that. So let's come on back down to something that makes sense. Let's look at our yearly chart. It's a year? Sure is. Looks awfully thin, don't it? So back in April of last year, we were at about $3. We had just had a run. It was a breakout, an atypical breakout, as a matter of fact, going from $1.77 up to $2.97. Dipped hard and went crazy around that 200 for many a months. But when she finally dipped, the 200 started dipping with her, and she just started falling hard. And now we're all the way down here to 84 cents compared to $67 to $2.97, and it doesn't look good. Everything here looks like it's still careening down like a waterfall, and she's at the very bottom being pushed. You can see our volume has been increasing. Most of it is red. Most of it is selling volume. Our oscillators are looking pretty sad. Everything is falling down here. Even our MACD looks really bad. Our downtrend is up at the very top, and it looks like it's getting stronger. Let's come on down to our 6-month, 4-hour view. Give you some chart to look at. Nothing to see there. Same sort of downtrend. All the lines are still rolling down. 1 hour. That was the 1 hour there. Yeah. We had a breakthrough. Whenever you see a breakthrough, folks, on a falling 200, don't get overexcited. It's going to come back down underneath. You will rarely, and I mean rarely, see a breakthrough continue to run on a falling 200. Take your gains when you see them get over a falling 200, because it's going to come back down and normally fall harder. You pay for that high by going lower. That's normally what happens. And she fell down here, and right now, is she doing anything on this hourly chart? Not really. She has just gotten on top of her 9, which is the first step. You can't climb till you're on top of your 9. Looking at our 15-minute, we've got hope in the picture. We have an atypical breakout set up perfectly. Our 200-day MA on the top, we can see it was falling, and right now she's starting to level out. She isn't flat yet, but you can see she's turning. Our price is in the middle, sitting on top of a 50 over that 200. Both of our 200s are coming together. Price on the 50, there's our first green bar. Things are looking good on the chart. Our oscillators, we've had our crossover. We're at least on top of the pink line right now. Our ADX, things are in the middle. We're at the 50% mark between 0 and 100, and everything is weak. Everything. So we don't know where it's going to go now. The chart is set up for an atypical, so that tells me it's going to climb. But the oscillators aren't giving me a whole lot of help. My MACD is underneath. Now that's a little interesting, because your PPO is actually pushing up a little bit. Your MACD is pushing down, which is a divergence. They're going apart, which means they got to come back together. You normally don't see that. So I think, I honestly don't know here, folks. I want to look at the 5-day, 5-minute. I need just a little more insight. I think she has a chance of breaking out here. Look at how steep this was. This was very steep. We started getting some poke throughs here. We're on top of it now. Yes, I'm feeling confident that she is probably going to break out now, folks. I lost her. The 1-minute chart, which isn't one that I like to base any decisions on unless I'm getting into it right now. She has gotten on top of it, not the 1 minute. It was the 5-minute. She's gotten on top of the 200, which is gone flat. That was a long fall. That's my main thing here. She was falling hard. The price is getting on top with all of our MAs starting to turn up. So she's worth a watch. But folks, cannabis isn't getting a lot of love right now. I'm still holding cannabis, and a lot of it looks really bad. I don't know if cannabis is going to have its day. I've kind of given up hope. And I wonder, even on the day that our government legalizes it, if it's going to do anything. Canada may not do anything. Tilray may not do anything. American companies should do something. Whether they do or not, that's all market sentiment. We're going to have a lot of other things to concern ourselves with at the time that they do that. All right, what time is she? 5:21. Holy cannoli. I'm going to jump on into the next stock here. We are taking a look at iQuest. iQuest. This is brought to us by Kashera. I'm glad you brought this to me. Kashera brought us iQuest because they just had news they're doing a merger with CYCU. CYCU just came on the market the other day. I saw her after she had been on the market for at the most 5 minutes, and she was halted. I took a picture of it and put it up at Penny Boys. And I seen that she dipped, and we were expecting her to start climbing again because that's what a lot of IPOs do. They dip hard, and then they come back up, and there's some good gains to be made there. A lot of times that does happen in the same day, but not always. This one didn't do it that day. I'm wondering what it's doing now. iQuest has got revenues that have been steady growing, and they are bragging about that in most of their news. That's their primary goal. They are trying to hit $1 billion revenues by 2027. However, they got to do it. Oh, that's what I got there. So iQuestal, she finished today at 17.7 cents, and they were down about 2.5% today. She is on the best tier of the OTC, the QX, close as you get to a major exchange stock. They act like a major exchange stock. Get all the filings, audited financials. Right there, penny stock exempt, 17 cents. They are not considered a penny stock in the stock world. We may think of it that way, but in the stock world, they're not. They're given all the respect of any other stock. They also got the verified profile and the transfer agent, and they got independent directors. You need independent directors whenever you want to uplist. They are ready to uplist. They're ready to go. Once they reach $3, how can they do that? Well, we can bid the price up, or they can do a reverse stock split, or they could do a merger with a company that's already up on the major exchange. So there are options here. iQuestal is a very busy business, folks. They do a lot, and there's no way we can talk about everything, but I'll try to give you a little bit of insight here. The company deals with the telecommunication division business, VoIP, SMS, fiber optics. They also deal with the financial division, fintech, that is financial technology. They also deal with electric vehicles, electric motorcycles, electric cars. They also deal with the metaverse. Now, I remember them having a mobile application. They probably have a few of them, which was helping people who are bankless. People who don't have banks have a hard, difficult time in the world. There's a lot of benefits that come with having banks. One of them is a credit card. You know, you can't buy stuff online without plastic normally, unless you have other applications. So they have all these different things, and I can't remember them all, but it's to help people in the world that are bankless. So they are doing a lot. And down here, they tell us that they made 10 acquisitions since 2018. These are the companies they acquired, and these are the subsidiaries that they benefited. And then down here gives you an idea of some of the companies they're doing business with. You see a lot of big names in there. Telecommunications, I'm figuring a lot of those are. So the company's got a heck of a lot going on. It's definitely worth some due diligence if you've got the time and interest. Now, as I said, a lot of their news is focused on their revenues. They're talking about it because they are serious about hitting $1 billion by 2027, which is closing in on us fast. So the most recent news that they had here came out yesterday. How do we say that? Securian, right? Because they work with technological security tech. Securian and iQuestal form exclusive cybersecurity partnership to expand into high-tech, high-margin markets. Jumping into that news, I wonder if I got my highlights. I don't think I do. If it takes that long to load, it's wiping it fresh. Thank you very much. Okay. What could I remember here? All right, the two companies have announced an exclusive partnership. Uh, this strategic collaboration grants Caesarian exclusive rights to deliver its top tier cybersecurity products to the United States telecommunications industry through iQuestal's vast network, also expanding its reach into other high growth sectors internationally. So it's piggybacking off of iQuestal's network. She's got a very large network, like I said. She's doing a lot of business. With iQuestal's extensive global presence spanning 17 time zones and 7 offices worldwide, this partnership will drive the adoption of advanced cybersecurity solutions across Europe, Latin America, and the Middle East, and the United States. By integrating Cycurian's cutting-edge security expertise with iQuestal's established client base, both companies are poised to unlock new high-margin opportunities in the rapidly evolving cybersecurity landscape. Now, I was looking for money, trying to figure out exactly how much they were going to be making out of this. That wasn't spoke of down here. What they talk about is all of what the new company can do and all the stuff that this company can do, which is quite a lot. Right now, they're doing about $290 million worth of business. They say that was supposed to be their end of the year 2024 financials, and they are strong, pushing towards that $1 billion. And this is supposed to help them with those high profit margin new products. Anything else? I do believe I have one more picture here. Oh, right. One of their pieces of news had this. Remember, I told you there's lots of different ways to figure out what the price of a stock should be. I'm always sharing how to divide the shares into the shareholder assets, equity value. They're doing it through their revenues. In 2020, the stock could have been worth 38 cents a share. Now, with the revenues they're making, by the end of 2024, we should have been paying $1.36 a share for this stock. What are we paying? 17 cents. Undervalued again. Again, folks, when a company is undervalued, this company is going to look for ways to give the shareholders value. If we don't literally appreciate that value and lift it up, the company will lift themselves up. They'll take it out of our hands and they'll put it into investors' hands who have more money and will give the company more respect. And you do that through a reverse stock split or a merger with another company. We're not doing it. So this company looks primed to me to jump. They've got everything set up. They're not a penny stock. They've got their directors. They've got the revenues. They've got the mergers. They just don't have the price. You've got to be at $3 to get up there. So that could be in the works somewhere along the line. Let's go take a look now at the relative volume for iQuest. What? What's that? 1/4 of a normal volume, dropping from 2.2 down to 542,000 shares. Share structure for the company. We're at 210 million, with the insiders owning 14 million, and we get the rest, 196 million. It's a pretty high share count, folks. Are they going to do a reverse stock split? Well, the share count doesn't need it. So if they do it, it will strictly be because of shareholder value. They'll want to give the company more value. Financials. Those are good. Look at that, folks. Every single year it's climbing, jumping from 2020's 44 million up 100 million by the end of 2023, 144 million. And they said they were at 290 million at the end of 2024, roughly. So that's doubling where they were at in 2023. So their revenues are growing very, very quickly right now. Quarterlies. Well, let's look at those recent quarterly reports. 51 million, 78 million, 54 million. Where is the profit? Wow, for all the money they're pulling in, where's the profit? 1 million, 2 million, 2 million. That's a little sad, folks. God. Taking a look at the balance sheet, we got about 2 million in the bank, 32 million in assets, 24 million in liabilities. So we are holding some stockholder equity here of about 8 million. So they're making great revenues. We do have stockholder equity. We are in the black on the profits, but my God, they're giving away an awfully lot of money. They do need some high margin profit products where they can start putting more profit into that column. Taking a look at the disclosures for iQuest. Okay. This one came out February 4th. These are material changes, 8Ks. You always want to at least poke your head in and look here, see what's going on. This looks like a shareholder meeting. No, this is a brochure. They call them decks. It's a breakdown of what the company does. Now, I was going to actually use this. They have some good information in here, nice and easy to read, laid out. The one thing I was going to show you was a picture of their spread throughout the world, right there, all over the East Coast. They're over here in Europe. They're over here in India. They've got lots of different offices, but you can get a lot of information coming over here. They make it easy to get. And I'm always looking for easy ways to find information. Doing due diligence can take a lot of time. Let's see, an S1. S1 is normally shares. Preliminary practice. Yes, preliminary. This is like a practice. I don't know why they do this. It is a warning. They haven't done it yet. It's pretty much telling us that they're going to be putting 15 million shares on the market. So we know there's probably a public offering coming, but it hasn't happened yet. If you see all this red stuff up here, it probably hasn't happened yet. But it's going to be coming. So there's going to be more shares. Not a whole heck of a lot, but it is getting bigger and bigger. But again, if a company is growing revenues, if the stock's price is going up, if their assets are going up, then it's okay for the share structure to go up. You go look at a company like Exxon. You know, Exxon has billions of shares. They've got to. If they didn't, each share would be so expensive, nobody could afford it. Just like Microsoft and Tesla and Facebook all had to do a reverse stock splits because their stocks got so valuable, they were too expensive. So they had to start adding more shares to bring the price down. Okay, let's go take a look now at iQuest. Holy cow. Oh, that's right. I don't know what time I started. So I don't know how much time I've actually been doing this. Here I was freaking out, thinking I've been here for an hour and a half already. All right, let's jump back to 1 year. A lot of ups and downs, right? Not a steady downhill decline like we see on a lot of charts. It was back in June, July. We have our 52-week low of just over 8 cents. And just here recently, back in January, we had our 52-week high of 40 cents. Got a 500% difference there, but she's been all over the place between point A and point B. Right now, she is falling hard from that high. She's broken every single MA, and she looks like she's still in a downtrend underneath the 9-day MA. Take a look at our 4 hours. See if that's looking any better. No, not really, right? Everything is falling off of that high. She's underneath all of the MAs, including the 9. You can't climb until you're on the 9. So everything right now is still pushing down. All of our MAs down here are showing weakness. No strength to be seen. Yeah, everything is level, if not falling. Taking a look now at our 20-day 1 hour view. Well, we're getting a little bit of hope in the picture, but not a lot. She's gotten up on top of the strong MA. She's just bounced down to her 200, which a lot of times, once you get over the big MA, she crossed the 200, crossed the 50. Once you get on the 50, in a lot of cases, you're going to see a bounce down to the 200, then a resettling on the 50, then the 200 haul. If it's up, there she goes. So this is looking like we're in 2 stages away from a launch. We had our jump off of our 50, drop to the 200. I want to see her get back onto the 50, and then I'm looking for a launch to and through the 200. So we do have some hope in the picture here on our hourly chart. Is there anything down on the oscillators? Oh, no. Look at that. Both of our red and yellow line are climbing on our ADX, which says the downtrend is getting stronger and the uptrend line is pushing down, meaning it's getting weaker. So the trends Our oscillators say this is breaking through the 200 haul coming underneath. Doesn't look like we're going to get that bounce. Looks like she is in a full-fledged fall. Now, normally you get the bounce when the 200 is starting to go level. That doesn't look very level to me. It still looks pretty firmly falling down. Our RSI, way down there at 43. Take a look at our 5-day, 15-minute. Yeah, things are looking bleak. She's still trying to break the 9-day, folks. She isn't even on the 9-day. She's close to the 20, but until she gets on the 9-day, nothing's going to happen. She is trying to climb right now. This kind of doji sort of bar here, when you got a line in the middle and a big wick to the top and a big wick to the bottom, that's a lot of rejection, Everybody agreed on the price right here. You're normally going to see some sort of activity now. It's going to go one way or the other. And looking at our oscillators, looks like tails is coming up the winner. Downtrend is going to the top. Uptrend is going to the bottom. Even though it's weak, it says it's going to dip some more. And I think if she dips some more, it's just going to give more credence to the downtrend, and everything is going to dip some more, and then we're in a full-fledged downtrend. So I get the feeling right now iQuest is probably going to dip some more, even though she's got good news. Now, that could change if volume comes in. We don't see any real strong volume here. Let me look at that. Well, no, a lot of sell volume. But after that, it's just been regular popcorn volume, even getting thinner. So we need the volume. That's going to change the picture. Hopefully, it'll be buy volume when it comes in. So that's everything I had set up, I do believe. Let me see if I had any more stocks over there. I'm trying to get back. Too many buttons to look at. Oh, man, did I leave that up that entire time? You know, I was talking to Taylor. Taylor said she was thinking about being here today, but I could not catch up with her today, so I never got with her. Does anybody have any idea when I started? How long have we been here? Do we have time to look at another stock? I'm going down to the bottom. No comments since 5:01. Well, I'm not sure how long we've been here, folks. I do see a lot of comments. Poet has been asked for over and over. Oh, it's you. That has been asked for a couple times by Shamagadar. Let's see what else we got up here. I'm looking. See lots of comments, but not a lot of tickers. You know what, folks? My voice is a little strepped, and I haven't got a whole lot ready to go. So I'm going to say thank you very much. I am sorry that I started late. I don't know what happened there, folks. I thought everything was right. If it wasn't right, I would have fixed it sooner. And I did hear you call, but I don't ever answer my phone when I'm online. And I thought it was online. So I do apologize for that. If you're watching this when it's already been recorded, lucky you. You missed everything. So I do appreciate you being here, folks. We didn't get to as many stocks as we wanted to, but we did see a couple hot ones in there. If you want to get into MNDR, I think that's one you ought to watch tomorrow, folks, because she had so much volume today. Tilray, probably not going to be too hot. Cannabis just isn't getting a whole lot of love right now. And the others, well, I think some more due diligence is necessary. iQuest looks like she's ready to do a uplist. She hasn't said anything. I've just got a feeling. Don't tell anyone I said that. I'll see you next week, folks. I'll see if I can talk Taylor into being here, because that'll give my voice a break. I really do need a break in between stocks. Thanks, folks. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Oh, no. Oh.